Batman. You cannot marry a woman without gills. You're from two different worlds. Oh, I've wasted my life.
Welcome back to Thinking Critical. This is Wes. It's time to talk about the DC Comics solicitations for December of 2021. Obviously, yesterday on the channel after the Comics Aficionados, I talked about the Marvel solicitations. Time to talk about the other entity that makes up the big two in American comic books, DC. So they are doing their solicitations funny again. Last time they did their November solicitations, they also solicited comics that were coming out like the first or second week of December as well, select ones. They've done that again here. I don't know that they went and resolicited all the things that were in the previous one that would actually be in December. So I've just done the numbers of everything within the solicitation. So this is the numbers that we have. There's 72 new comic books, new periodic comics being solicited. That does not include trades and collections, stuff like that. Of those 72, 15 are led by the Dark Knight himself. As in, Batman is the starring character, or it's a solo Batman book. That equates to essentially 21% of all DC comics will be led by Batman. Also, 23 are led by a Batman-related character, or includes Batman in like an ensemble cast, like a Justice League. So total would be 38 are either led by Batman, a Batman-related character, or include Batman as a main figure of an ensemble cast. That would make 52% out of all 72. So over half of comic books are Batman-related, a Batman-related character in the starring role. And then of all these other ones, they have 4 number ones for only 5%, which is a lot different than Marvel. 25% of all their new comics they solicited were number one issues. So obviously DC is taking a little bit of a different approach with their comic book solicitations. I do want to talk about this comic right here first. Justice League 2021 Annual Number 1 by Brian Michael Bendis. Brian Michael Bendis, like written, edited, or influenced comics were taking over DC before the pandemic shut down. Obviously, things have changed. He's really only writing the Justice League now, which is a welcome change, unless you're a Justice League fan, because it's been trash. It's been awful. It's been paced just like his Superman and his Legion of Superheroes and all the other comic books he was writing before. It's a terrible reading adventure to get in there and read Justice League right now. I imagine this annual issue will be just as bad. But it's a solicitation itself that makes me a little bit worried, because the amount of new things that he's introducing or reintroducing things that are part of DC's lore. And you know he's going to be writing at least one of these, if not all of these, on his own in the future. It's just terrible. This is what the solicitation for Justice League 2021 Annual Number 1. The return of Wonder Woman. Wait, what's that? So Wonder Woman will be returning from Valhalla back to the DC Comics universe. Obviously, Hippolyta has taken the place of Wonder Woman in the Justice League. Nubia has been elevated to the Queen of Themyscira in place of Hippolyta, and we also have Yara Flor as the new Wonder Woman in training in Wonder Girl. So we are getting Diana Prince back. We obviously knew that was going to happen. Is Brian Michael Bendis going to be writing Wonder Woman? No, they've had their own creative team. But he is bringing the character back, apparently according to the solicitation, and I imagine she'll be taking her rightful place in the Justice League. Also, the return of Omok, Jack Kirby's greatest creation, the one-man Army Corps, returns to the DC Universe just in time to team up with the reunited Justice League to stop secret forces of evil from gathering. Obviously, that will be in this comic book. You're going to see Omok return under the watchful eye of Brian Michael Bendis. I'm sure Omok fans worldwide are shedding a tear now if they learn this information for the first time. Another great creation by someone whose legacy is much greater and bigger than Brian Michael Bendis, that he gets to destroy what they created. That is terrible news. And then finally, it continues. Join Eisner Award winner Sanford Green as he brings the legacy of the League to life, heading into Justice League versus the Legion of Superheroes. Justice League, obviously, is the premier team book within DC Comics, and it's unfortunate that Brian Michael Bendis is on that. The Legion of Superheroes at one time was one of the premier books in all of comics, and it has not been for quite some time. They brought the the Legion of Superheroes back. I think everybody's been waiting to see the Jonathan Hickman version of this, but we got the Brian Michael Bendis version of the Legion of Superheroes. It was awful. It wasn't as bad as a Superman, but it was a chore to read. It wasn't fun. It was just poorly paced, essentially what you're getting in Justice League now. Who is excited for a Brian Michael Bendis written Justice League versus the Legion of Superheroes miniseries story event? Nobody. DC has got to just get over this Bendis thing. The experiment didn't work. You didn't get new sales. In fact, you drove readers away with all the mistakes that he made on Superman. And just get him away from the Legion of Superheroes. That should be an important item at DC Comics. And it's sad that they keep sacrificing these wonderful characters and teams on the altar of Brian Michael Bendis to stroke his own ego when it's been quite apparent that he does not connect with the DC Comics audience. He's just not the writer that he once was. And that's unfortunate. Everybody has a peak, and he's well past his sell-by date. He hasn't had a hit book or really a competently written comic book in probably 10 years, maybe more. So that's the bad news. Now let's get into the rest of the DC Comics solicitations. Got a lot of stuff to get through. I hope you're ready. Get your popcorn. We're going to talk about a few comic books. I may make fun of a few here or there, but mostly I'm going to be talking about the stuff that I think looks interesting or is of note. And let's get to it. First up, we've got Batman 118. This is going to be the new creative team on Batman. It's going to be Joshua Williamson and Jorge Molina. And you'll notice that DC is absolutely courting the speculator market. Now they've got these throwback logos with all new collector's item issue, on the top on some of these on these variant covers, which you're going to have what do we got? Victor Bogdanovich. We got a Jock variant that we know of. $5, of course, for 40-page comic. And the card stock is going to be $6. And this is going to be the introduction of Abyss. And essentially Bruce Wayne is going to have left or retreated from Gotham. And we are going to start learning about this mystery involving Batman Incorporated. I'm excited for a new writer on Batman. I know a lot of people love James Tynion. I thought his stories are just as poorly paced as Brian Michael Bendis's, but he tells better stories. So I could see why some people would appreciate what he was doing. But there's a lot of retread. I'm not all that sad to see him go. I just didn't think he was a great Batman writer. I didn't like his Detective Comics, and I did not like Tynion's Batman. But we are to do day. We got Batman 119. I think the regular cover has the character, right? Oh, yeah, there it is. That's the regular cover with Abyss. $5 once again, and this is the second part of the Abyss story. And the backup, Mia Maps Mizuguchi is going to be joining there. We also have a new series here, Batman related, Batgirls. This thing has been hinted at for quite a few years. Becky Cloonan and Michael Conrad. If those are your writers, I say go for it. I'm not a fan of those two as a collaborative creative force. I am a fan of Jorge Corona, who is going to be the artist. I think that's a great choice for the characters, and it's going to look good, but I just don't think this is going to be all that great. And then this is what really sold me on not reading this right here. Meanwhile, Oracle realizes the most effective way for the girls to wear her newly upgraded comms is by piercing their ears, and Cass freaks out. Like, okay, that sounds like a really exciting action-based comic story, starring Spoiler and Orphan with, obviously Oracle in a supporting role as like a mentor. Obviously, this comic is not for me. Hopefully, it's for you. It is only, that one's $4. What's the issue number one? Issue number one's only $4. So they're taking it easy on the wallet with Batgirls. We got Detective Comics 1046. This should be the beginning of Shadows of the Bat. Yes. $5. Backup story by Stephanie Phillips and David Lapham. Fear State Aftermath. Batman had a mission after the Joker War. He could no longer look over Gotham from Wayne Manor. He would move to the heart of the city, get closer to its people and its problems. That has already been done a couple of times within DC Comics, so that is not a new idea. The fight must be pursued would be different, but after Fear State, he finds himself disillusioned. He's no longer the protector of the city needs, and definitely not the one it deserves. Jesus, he never wins. There you go. Basically, this is going to have the erection. I believe that was what that is of Arkham Towers. The Tower begins. The 12-part weekly Detective comic event starts here. So this is where Shadows of the Bat starts. 1047, not 1046. That's the aftermath, and this is Arkham Tower being erected. I've already talked about this. Art by Ivan Rice, Danny Mickey. So it's going to look good. Backup story by Matthew Rosenberg. And backup story won't be very good. Detective Comics 1048. Ivan Reese, Danny Mickey with Mariko Tamaki. I really liked it when they were using Dan Mora and Victor Bogdanovich as the Detective Comics artists. I understand that it's an event and they want it to feel unique. So they're bringing in a great artist, and Ivan Reese is absolutely a phenomenal artist. I wish they would have just kept the ones that they were doing because, hey, as great as Ivan Reese is, Dan Mora and Victor Bogdanovich fit the character of Batman and the character of Gotham better. Justice League Annual 2021. I already talked about this. Catwoman Lonely City. Cliff Chang on art and story. This is going to be about a Gotham City with no Batman. If you find that interesting, this might be the story for you. She looks like Daredevil there. More than Catwoman. Except she's got, the ears on it instead of having horns. There you go. Dark Knights of Steel. This is something I was really excited for. I was like, you know what? Tom Taylor does some pretty good, like, alternate universe kind of stuff. I'm going to be all in on this one. But after what I've seen him do on John Kent, Son of Kal-El, Superman, Son of Kal-El, I was like, nah. I can't continue to support this guy. But I imagine a lot of people are going to enjoy this. $4, $5 card stock, issue 3 of 12. War is on the horizon as a series of assassinations has rocked the lands. The Kingdom of Swords is gathering its allies with eyes on the destruction of Kal-El and his family. What secret does the Dark Knight learn that could be the key to everything? Sounds invigorating. Swamp Thing, Green Hell. This is probably going to be great. Doug Mankey is a fantastic artist. I'm not the biggest fan of Jeff Lemire for reasons outside of his actual comic book writing, but as a writer, he's very good. And this is going to be DC Black Label, $7, 48 pages. It's going to be that Prestige Plus format, so it's going to be magazine sized. And, be special collector's issue. It'll come out as 3 issues. The Earth is almost done, all but done. The last remnants of humanity cling to a mountaintop island lost in endless floodwater. Basically, this is Alec Holland returning, I guess, as the Avatar and the Keeper of the Green for the end of the universe. I imagine a lot of people are going to like that. Yeah, this should be good. World of Krypton. This is my lead pipe lock. Lock it up right here. World of Krypton #1. Robert Venditti, the best comic book writer in all of comics, is taking us on an adventure to the world of Krypton before its destruction. We're going to get to see General Zod. We're going to see Jor-El. We're going to see Kara Zor-El. We're going to see Crypto. We're going to see all those wonderful characters before the destruction of Krypton. It's going to be a 6-issue miniseries. I don't know what else I could tell you. It's Robert Venditti. He's the best comic book writer in the industry today. According to this guy, everything that he writes, at a minimum, is good. That's the worst you're going to get from a Robert Venditti comic book story, in my opinion. And the best that you're going to get is absolutely mind-blowing. Like fry your eyeballs because it's so amazing when you look directly at it. Like you need sunglasses to read these comic books written by Robert Venditti just so you can take it all in. You know what I mean? So you don't hurt yourself because they're so good. One Star Squadron #1. This is Mark Russell. Supposed to be a comedy book. I think Mark Russell is absolute trash. He's up there with Tom King and Tom Taylor and Cecil Castellucci. As you know, he's far worse than Brian Michael Bendis. What do I say? He's the drizzling shits of comic book writers. Action Comics 1038. Obviously, by the cover, Clark Kent has made it to War World. He's under the thumb of Mongol here. He's kneeling before it while he's chained up. The chains have been very important within Action Comics as we've had these new characters introduced that are motivating Clark Kent to leave Earth under the protection of his soon-to-be tyrannical son, John Kent, and go and save all the slaves that are being made to fight on War World. Action Comics has actually been really, really good. I'm enjoying the Philip Kennedy Johnson story with Daniel Sampere on art. Looks like Daniel just got an exclusive deal with DC Comics to keep working on this with Philip Kennedy Johnson. That is very, very good news. This is part 3 of the World saga, which we certainly saw a lot of in Future State. Whether or not that will be what this is, I guess it doesn't matter since we got an event coming up. All right, this is not going to undo all of this. After the heart-stopping events of Action 1037, Superman and the surviving members of the Authority see a side of World they never knew existed. In the catacombs, Superman finds another survivor of the lost Philosian race of Krypton, a scientist turned enslaved gladiator with much to teach Superman of his new home, including how to survive. There you go. Aquaman 4, or The Becoming number 4. I really like Brandon Thomas as a writer. He's been doing really great stuff on the indie scene. I really enjoy like the Aquaman Future State featuring Jackson Hyde and Andy Curry. We shall see how this goes. It looks like it's, Jackson Hyde's going to be taking over the mantle of Aquaman as Arthur Curry decides to stay home and take care of his daughter. Aquaman Green Arrow Deep Target number 3. Also by Brandon Thomas, wrote and click it on art. Captured by Scorpio, Aquaman and Green Arrow must endure General Anderton's torture long enough to find a way to escape. They are in for a big surprise as they discover that they are being held in the last place they thought possible. They're being held in Atlantis. Calling it now. That, or they're being held in Seattle. Boom. They never would have suspected that either. Arkham City, Order of the World. These have really cool, like, novel covers on them. These aren't really comic book covers, so I don't even know what this is about. Obviously, somebody's hand's melting there. Does it have something to do with, Dr. Phosphorus? No, Dan Waters ain't going to do it for me. Batman 89. I am off the Batman 89 bandwagon. I was excited for this. I really like the Batman 89 movie. I like Batman Returns. I even like Batman Forever a little bit before it really the wheels fell off of that. The problem with this comic is it's not in the Batman 89 universe, and none of the story feels like it's from the world of Batman 89. It feels like it's from Baltimore or Chicago or New York or LA or Dallas from 2020. This is supposed to be Batman 89, not modern day society stuff. So there you go. I think this has been an enormous letdown, in my opinion. The art by Joe Quinones has been absolutely fantastic, but even then, the aesthetics do not look like anything Tim Burton created in Batman 89. And this will be the final issue coming out the second week of January. Batman vs. Bigby, a Wolf in Gotham number 4. This is an instant read for me. I think Bill Willingham's return to the Fable universe is something to be excited about. I'll definitely be reading these comics. Brian Level, Jay Leaston on art. Batman and Bigby call a ceasefire as the city recovers from a night of violence. It sounds amazing. Batman Urban Legends number 11. So we got V.I. Allen, Mark Russell, Ram V, and Mohali Mashigo. So Ram V is a fantastic writer. This writer probably should be good eventually if they ever get any type of editorial oversight to help him out. This guy is an absolute joke, and I'm not really sure about this one. They're, Carl Mostert, so there's one artist that you've heard of. Yeah, this is not worth reading. Certainly not at $8. Is it really worth $8 to read 16 pages of Ram V? No, of course it's not. But that will obviously be your choice and your decision. Black Manta number 4. Chuck Brown. A lot of people have good things to say about Chuck Brown. Devil Ray is a site set on Atlantis, and he races to put his grand plans into motion before Black Manta can unlock the secrets of the most mysterious and deadly Oraculum metal. There you go. Black Manta number 5. Blue and Gold number 5. I've heard very good things about this. Obviously, Dan Jurgens has quite the history with Booster Gold. I believe he's the creator of the character. We also see Dan Jurgens working on some Marvel stuff now too as well. So over halfway through this miniseries, if you're interested in it, will be coming out in December. Catwoman 38. This has been one of the real gems at DC Comics and one of the ongoings worth reading. Ram V. I don't think it's been Felipe Andrade most of the time. but this is also going to be Fear State Aftermath. A new Poison Ivy walks. Well, why don't you just give the spoilers away? Definitely worth reading. Crush and Lobo. Mariko Tamaki. Nah, series finale. I didn't read the first issue. Why read issue number 8? Soul Plumber. I'm sure it's great. DC versus Vampires. James Tynion and Matthew Rosenberg. I believe this was the series that James Tynion thought of when he decided he was going to opt out of 5G and wanted another project to work on. It's unfortunate that he probably outlined this and let Matthew Rosenberg essentially finish it. Otto Schmidt's a good enough artist. I'll definitely be reading this until I'm not. Definitely worth the check. Deathstroke Incorporated number 4. Super duper excited about this one. Unfortunately, Joshua Williamson is being spread pretty thin, so I have no faith that he's going to continue on this, any type of long-term capacity. I could be wrong on that one. Deathstroke versus Black Canary. That's what we're talking about. I like Howard Porter as an artist. He and Josh Williamson obviously have worked together in the past. So this is one of those series I'm definitely looking forward to. Future State Gotham, glad I don't see a cover because I wouldn't read that crap. This has been absolute trash. This guy's art, Giannis Milianis, has been just terrible. Green Lantern number 9. Once again, we were told, I believe specifically from Jeffrey Thorne on Purchase Channel, I don't know why they're acting like JoJo Mullins and Teen Lantern are main focuses of this series. Because it's not about them. It's about Jon Stewart. Well, it pretty much feels like it's about them. They're at least co-stars, and we always see them on the covers. Look at that. We got a Hawkman sighting. Boom. Tim Board Hawkworld, if you're watching this, we got a Hawkman sighting. At least I assume that's Hawkman. It's definitely a Thanagarian. It looks like we might be getting Hawkman and Green Lantern number 9. Marco Santucci, Tom Rainey. Tom Rainey's been absolutely awful. When they switched out Dexter Soy for Tom Rainey, it killed the aesthetic of the book, and the story got worse, and I gave up on this one, although it was something I was excited for because nobody cares about JoJo or Teen Lantern. I wanted to hear about Jon Stewart, maybe some of the other Lanterns I actually like. Hardware Season 5. I read this one. I'm not sure if I'm going to stay on with this one. Brandon Thomas, it felt like, I don't know. It was a... Have you ever read a book and you're like, I think I like it, but I know I hate it? That's kind of how I felt about Hardware Season 1, number 1. So I'll probably have to check out issue 2 before I decide whether or not I'm going to stay on board. That is a terrible cover. Absolutely terrible cover. That does not make anyone want to buy this comic book. I'm just putting that out there. Harley Quinn number 10. Riley Rossmo. Oh, he's only doing the cover. So at least this one won't look like trash like they normally do with Riley Rossmo doing the interiors. Stephanie Phillips. If you want to hear good things about Stephanie Phillips, watch Nerdette's Newsstand. She's pretty basic. By the book, paint by numbers comic book writer, in my opinion. I don't read Harley Quinn anyway. Harley Quinn animated series Eat, Bang, Kill Tour. This is by T. Franklin, the creator that was attacked because she dared to portray Poison Ivy as bisexual in this comic book, which is based in the Harley Quinn animated series universe where the character is bisexual. Go figure that. And I haven't watched the cartoon, so I'm not reading the comic anyway. But with the Eat, Bang, Kill Tour is like the name of it, I wouldn't read it anyway. It sounds stupid. Human Target. We've got Booster Gold getting ready to eat the human target on a bagel. The art on this is going to be fantastic. Greg Smallwood. The story is going to be terrible because it's Tom King. The man has lost whatever mojo he had, and he ain't getting it back. Christopher Chance is a man on a deadline and working to solve a crime that might be unsolvable. Despite his better judgment, he's falling for his lead suspect, and her violent ex-boyfriend isn't happy about it. Oh, and that ex, he's a Green Lantern. I don't know. Probably in the very final reveal, this comic book will probably be Christopher Chance murdering a Republican presidential nominee with his bare hands like we got in Rorschach. There's nothing, but Tom King is just nothing wrong there, right? He's not tormented about anything. He's just dreaming about murdering people that he disagrees with politically. I Am Batman number 4. This thing has been not good. It disappoints me that Steven Segovia ends up leaving Hellions, although I guess it's canceled now, to write a book or to illustrate a book this bad. Although the Olivier Copiel art in I Am Batman #1 is really good, the book sucks. They cannot figure out who Jace Fox is. And maybe that's because this isn't a creation from John Ridley. I think Dan Didio brought in John Ridley and like, we would like you to create a black Batman. And that was like the directive. And rather than John Ridley saying, hey, Dan, I got this story for a black Batman, and this is what I want to do with him. So, you know what I mean? He didn't come up with the story. Like, the idea itself isn't his idea. And I think that's probably why it's been executed so poorly. The character has no motivation to speak of. I have Batman #5, Steven Segovia once again. I got a Rocket Season 1. That's almost an interesting cover. I mean, it's not a good comic book cover, but it's interesting. Reggie Hudlin. Nah, after I read that Milestone relaunch book. Justice League 71, Bendis and Ramby, Phil Hester and Sumit Gomar. The Royal Flesh Gang hatched one of the most elaborate plans in the history of the DC Universe. Yeah, well, Brian Michael Bendis wrote it. It took about 14 issues for it to unfold, because he does everything in slow motion. Justice League Incarnate. This is the second part of Joshua Williamson's Infinite Frontier trilogy, which will be leading into, I guess, the next Crisis next year. 5-parter. Issue #2 coming out the first week of December. Dark Side, yeah. If you like Infinite Frontier miniseries, you'll probably want to read this. I thought it wasn't very good. Nice to see Kyle Holtz getting some interior work, though. Justice League Infinity. I did not watch the animated universe, so I have not been reading this. I am told by folks that James Tucker's JL Infinity is absolutely fantastic, and this will be the final issue of the miniseries. Legends of the Dark Knight. Who we got on this one? Che Grayson, Yadoy Travis, Malene Ortega, and when I read those names, nothing pops in my head and goes, I remember reading a good comic by those people. Nightwing 87, I believe this is going to be the one continuous image comic. It is, by Bruno Redondo. Essentially, when you open it up, it'll be one continuous image from beginning to end from Tom Taylor and Bruno Redondo. I'll be reading it. I don't have a lot of expectations for Nightwing being good anymore. Tom Taylor is just, he's gone to complete shit. Pennyworth #5. If you're enjoying this, good for you. That first issue was too boring. Refrigerator Full of Heads. This obviously will be in the, I don't know, whatever that horror imprint from Stephen King's son. I didn't like Basket Full of Heads, so. Robin #9. Now, this is good stuff right here. This is the best ongoing series at DC Comics. Once again, Joshua Williamson, Roger Cruz on art now. And the Lazarus Demon rises. The deadly end of the Lazarus tournament is at hand. So we're still in the Lazarus tournament, 9 issues in. Whatever. I'm enjoying this thing as well. I'll definitely keep reading it. Can Damon utilize everything he's learned in the tournament? Well, hopefully he does. Robin and Batman #3. I think this is Jeff Lemire, Dustin Wynn. Obviously, they're recreating A Death in the Family. Robin's #2. This is the Tim Seeley, Baldomir Rivas. All the Robins get together and do something. Feels like they just did this on Webtoon, so I don't know why they're even making this comic anymore. It's kind of like completely irrelevant. Everyone already read this story for free. You know what I mean? Scooby-Doo. Suicide Squad King Shark. Or Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow should be called Supergirl Rooster Cogburn, like a cosplayer. That cover sucks. Superman 78. This thing has been so great. Really a wonderful illustration of why Robert Venditti truly is the cream of the crop of comic book writers. If you aren't reading this, I don't know what to tell you. This thing is awesome. It's unfortunate it's a miniseries. Superman versus Lobo. I've heard this was an absolute train wreck. Superman, Son of Kal-El. I can't tell you how much I dislike this comic book. And the destruction of John Kent at the hands of Tom Taylor. He's absolutely a tyrant. And, he's going to use his powers to dominate the world and probably kill everybody. He is absolutely a villain. Task Force Z. More Matthew Rosenberg. Man, I love Eddie Barrows and Eva Ferreira together, too. I'm going to check it out just because I like the artist, but Matthew Rosenberg, when he goes wrong, it's like reading Bendis. Teen Titans Academy. Tim Sheridan on my never read list. Batman and Scooby-Doo Mysteries. Reading this with the kid. He's enjoying it. They're actually a lot of fun. Flash 777. I'll give Jeremy Adams this. He's got me to the point where I'm willing to be like, yeah, I'm almost willing to forgive DC because this is actually pretty good. I actually like it quite a bit. The Joker number 10, still $6. Man, $6 for these Joker books. Crazy. Once again, $6. Joker presents a puzzle box. It's interesting. It's worth reading, in my opinion. I think as far as Matthew Rosenberg goes, this is actually pretty good. The puzzle box is not bad at all. Swamp Thing 10, it got too slow for me. I checked out. Everyone's talking about how Ravi and Mike Perkins are still doing it, but it was too slow. And this is obviously the final issue. Titans United number 4. I have yet to read this one. This issue came out this week. Hopefully it's good. I really like the Titans. Wonder Woman 782. Wonder Woman spotted in Sweden. What a stupid way to open up a solicitation. Yeah, that's really dumb. Wonder Woman Evolution number 2. You want to hear more about this? Stephanie Phillips actually did join Tristan on Nerdette's newsstand, and they talked all about Wonder Woman Evolution. If you want to learn more about this, obviously Mike Hawthorne coming over from Daredevil. That's a pretty big name. Crime Syndicate. This is actually pretty good. Yeah, this is the trade. So we've made it through all of the periodicals. And that is DC Comics solicitations for December 2021. I'm much less bullish on this than I was on Marvel. I just don't think there's very many winners in there. Obviously, World of Krypton, Lead Pipe Block of the Month, Batman or Superman 78, absolutely. What else? We got Robins, which has been really fantastic. I mean, there's a few other things worth reading there, but DC just feels flaccid and lifeless right now. And that's what I got to say about that.